All right. Well, I'm Pete Frost. I've been doing solar for about 18 years now. I stumbled onto the industry. Basically, a buddy of mine wanted to put solar on their house, and my other buddy said that he would do it with me. So, two guys with a wrench on a roof, just figuring it out back in 2006. Yeah, so I'm a broker, actually, just because I've been doing this for so long. I have relationships with lots of companies and, all the loans and leases and all the platforms and everything. So I know a fair amount about solar. I've seen a whole lot of stuff. I was going to put sources for this little chat, but there's so many that I have sourced for my information here. This is how we get our energy most of the time. Whether it's for electricity, whether it's coal or natural gas plants that, fire on instantly, which are less bad for the environment, but it's all, even though it's beautiful, it's bad. And so that's one of the reasons we're fighting against, doing this, because the climate change is kind of a big deal in my industry. This is from NREL. This is just in 2016, so maybe it's changed around a little bit. But these greenhouse gases, we got 28% from electricity, but that's just generating from our sources. 5% if it is being produced by residential homes, where we're burning the energy, where we're doing our things. Transportation, 28%, is slowly electrifying because we're getting our electric cars and everything, which is great. So there are things that we can modify and make better by doing renewable energy. There is a climate sustainability action plan that I'm advising on, and this is their goal. Residential buildings in this area that we're trying to control. Right now, that's a pretty big portion of what we can modify. Commercial buildings aren't quite as big because not as industrial of an area. Transportation, once again, these big sections are things that we can control, and our goal is to reduce those quite a bit by 2050. How do we do it? There's lots of different methods out there, lots of different things, but energy, moving these two primary blocks is going to make the biggest effect for greenhouse gas reduction. Let's accelerate our adoption of clean energy. That's Denver. That's Denver just a little while ago. CPR News took that. That's just the smoke from some fire that wasn't even in Colorado. Now we have another fire just up the canyon. Some people think, solar panels, they take energy to make, and so it's not really that green. But the amount that it takes to produce a panel, the panel's generation and offset of the coal or gas that it would be using to power your house, electricity otherwise, it basically pays that back within just a couple of years of its production. So panels are under our laboratories tells us that we can double their warranty for lifespan. And that's a 25-year warranty on panels. That means they're going to be operating at like 85% or better at the 25th year. So maybe at the 40th year, 50th year, maybe they're 75% or 65%. I mean, they're still functioning, still producing. I like putting SunPower as one of the slides that I took from them because they just went out of business. They had the highest efficiency solar panels, but they were 30% more for a 2% raise versus the competition. So the model just didn't end up working out. But I like the illustration. Basically, we're popping electrons off the top, and they want to be attached back at the bottom of the panel again. And so you just loop a little bit of copper, and then you get work. We can invert the electricity from DC, because that's how it generates, into AC. We can do it right at the panel and bring AC into the house. Houses run on AC energy. Or we can keep it in DC and put the inverter in the battery. So batteries love to be DC powered. So if you're turning it into AC energy on your roof, turning it back into DC for the storage in your battery, turning it back to AC on the way out. Every time you convert, you're losing like 8% or something around there. So keeping it DC straight into your Tesla Powerwall 3, which is now the coolest battery on the market. And XL actually is doing the pretty cool program. XL has the problem where they don't want to turn on that distant generator. And so they have fewer coal plants firing, because when that big load, that peak time load, everybody's going to run their AC, everybody's cooking dinner. They need to turn on that instant on natural gas plant here and there, and they pay a ton of money for that. They don't want to have to do that if they helped you purchase your battery. So they make you turn your battery on at whatever time that is. And then they do it to 1,000 batteries across Denver, and they reduce their peak demand. So maybe they don't have to fire on that one plant. So it's kind of cool how they're doing that. And that's exactly when you'd want to be turning your battery on anyways. These batteries love to be used every day. So every day when peak time hits, which is when they're charging you the most, I have some slides for that. You just have your battery run your house, and your solar is, pushing out to the grid, giving you credits at that time. You look around, maybe you see a lot of solar, but because it happens in clumps. But there's entire towns that have like zero solar. There are entire states that aren't friendly to solar, so barely any solar is going up in them. We have a lot of work to do. In 2021, though, somebody was going solar every single minute. That's kind of cool. It's changing. We're getting there, but we have a long way to go. Average price right now for your XL customers are 16 cents. Depends on how much peak time energy you use. Since 2019, they've gone up by 38%, which, they've been around for a long time. They're always going up by leaps and bounds. Their bills are what goes up, not necessarily their rate. So it'll be like, our electrical rate that we're charging is this much, but we're also going to triple it at this time or whatever. So the bills have gone up quite a bit. And I added my own little line because this was as of 2023. And then, XL just increased our rates and our prices again. Thanks, XL. I like XL. They let us do solar. They have some one programs. They're doing the battery program, but the amount that they've been charging us is just crazy. This chart only goes up to 2019. Our usage is actually starting to go back up again, especially here in Denver. We're doing the electrification program, and they want you to switch over to, heat pumps and things along these lines and get you off natural gas as well, which is, of course, more electricity. This is how they do their time of use billing, just in case you wanted to know, between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. That's when they're hitting you the most. And that's when most people are using the most electricity. So mid-peak, we call it the shoulder hours. It's, also more expensive. This was their winter rates from that ended, May 31st. And you're paying all the way up to 32 cents per kilowatt hour from 3 to 7, 12 at the other times. So don't charge your car during those times. But here's the cool thing. If you have your solar generating and your batteries running your house at that time, you are getting, thank you, XL, a credit for 32 cents. So your kilowatt hours are time stamped now. It's not just kilowatt for kilowatt. It's time stamped kilowatts because they've gone to time stamped billing. So it's really, if you have a solar array that's kind of facing a little bit to the west, you get that 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. sun, that's the money time. If it's facing to the east, well, you have to have batteries so you can capture it all and then use it at that time. Good things can change. We lost this 30% renewable energy tax credit once upon a time, but that's a huge deal for us. It's been enshrined for several more years, but a certain individual in the Republican side, if they win, they said that's the, 2025, it'll be gone. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Something that's changing around the world or around the country right now is right now, XL still has the 1 kilowatt hour pushed in, 1 kilowatt hour credit. It's a 1-for-1. You're a net metering agreement. Everybody has an old system, has their old net metering agreement. They're good. But California just released net metering 3.0, which means you get a credit, but you get like 50% of the credit because the federal program says that you have to have a net meter. You have to be able to push it back into the grid because that's how you play well with solar. But they didn't say how fast. And so Arizona challenged it. They won. California, switched over. Oh, the PG&E guy now runs Xcel, which is why we get those brownouts whenever the wind kicks up, because he doesn't want to get sued again, which makes sense. Yeah, but that one-to-one credit net metering is going to go away. Accelerated depreciation for commercial properties, that's nice. That's at the federal level. So commercial properties have global advantage. This is my super awesome design that I whipped out when it comes to the cost of solar. Because why isn't everybody going solar? So it always comes down to the cost in some sense. The black line is basically, this is money over time. Black line is Xcel going up in cost, year after year. If you get a lease, it starts under what you're already paying, but they usually go up at about 2.9%. So every year, a person who didn't even buy their own solar is actually saving more and more money versus not doing it. So everybody should just do it for free. But if you buy it yourself with a loan, it's more expensive for a couple of years until the loan payments are less expensive than your electric bill. And so you're saving in between until whenever your loan payment ends, then you're done and you get all the difference. We need people to afford it. This happens to be one of my customers, and I felt like I could use his name because it's also a relative. But then I'm like, if this is going to be online, I better get rid of his name, even an address. But this is what it can look like. He's actually getting a credit on his bill. Now, if you're getting a credit and you also on the same bill have your natural gas charges, is your solar paying for your natural gas? It's not supposed to. Xcel says they won't do that, but they're doing it. But they don't make it very easy to read. So this is, mid-peak delivered by Xcel, delivered by customer. This is basically a long-form arm wrestle. So your solar is pushing against Xcel, and Xcel is pushing against your solar. If it's nighttime, the grid's winning, and you're just bringing in all that energy, and you're paying for it, and your meter's spinning forward, charging up. The daytime comes around, starts pushing back, and sometimes you're pushing the other way, and you're pushing the kilowatt hours out. So if you show only a little production, that means that not only did you neutralize the arm wrestle, but you started pushing the other way. So it's pretty cool, and they track it all, so you can question anything you want. I throw a little spreadsheet together to kind of demonstrate what it purchases for a customer. I just have everybody's on the business choice of no, your investment is just throwing your money away on your electrical bill. But this is a big deal. Like, this person's paying cash. All right, $42,000 with your tax credit though, and the battery bonus that Xcel is giving. Your ROI, your straight up ROI is at year 7. But the difference between your two plans, plan number 1 and plan number 2, you're already $7,000, almost $8,000 in the right decision tree by choosing to do solar, even just paying cash for it. So unfortunately, not everybody has all that much cash, but if you do, there's no better investment for that one time you get to do it. Upfront cost is why people aren't doing it, but 4% to the value of your home in general. So that's pretty cool. These other states aren't really solar friendly. They're mostly not solar friendly because of their utilities not playing well with solar, rather than the amount of sun. Because even Germany, has tons of solar. They have horrible sun. And that's me. Thank you.